Today, we are going to talk about the Great Seattle Fire and the legacy it left on Seattle. Researching this topic was absolutely mental, and without further ado, I hope you enjoy. On June 6th, 1889, before this fire ever started, a Swedish immigrant named John E. Back splashed water on a flaming bucket of glue in the glue shop where he worked. During the first 20 minutes, the fire alarm buzzed. Right after this, the volunteer fire department couldn't even lessen the fire. Who knew? This was only the beginning. The fire headed to the west side of First Avenue. But the bad part was that most buildings were made out of wood, allowing the fire to spread quickly. After the fire destroyed those buildings, the fire headed to the worst place possible. Dietz and Mayer liquor store. Yeah, cut. And set ablaze barrels of whiskey, causing a mass explosion. The fire spread even further. The fire then made its way to one of the most expensive buildings in Seattle called the Fry Opera House that cost $125,000. Even though it was made of brick, the fire made its way onto the roof, burning down this expensive building. As the fire reached the waterfront, once again destroyed everything in its path due to the fact that the entire waterfront was made out of wood. Very inconvenient. At this point, the fire was spreading everywhere, even ending up in the prairie with tall and dry grass. Could Seattle even stop the fire? The mayor, Robert Morgan, had enough with the fire. He started organizing hundreds upon hundreds of people to stop the fire. First, he ordered people to help preserve endangered buildings from the fire. Then, he ordered people to avoid bad things like stealing. Everyone tried to find something that could hold water to stop the fire. They also protected the windows of brick houses. After they did everything that they could, well, the fire was in a complete standstill and ended because of lack of materials in its way. After the chaos stopped, another problem arose. After the fire, 60 blocks of downtown were destroyed from the fire, leaving people homeless and needing aid. But the good news was that Tacoma offered aid and succor, as well as other cities for the survivors. Johnstown homeless shelters helped as well. Because the fire destroyed everything, Seattle could rebuild everything once again, meaning there was room for improvement. Seattle started rebuilding buildings with stone and other materials instead of wood to prevent another fire from happening again. The city also rebuilt sidewalks with stone or asphalt. Seattle also started and finished 60 engineering projects, which leads me to the end of this video. In conclusion, what we discussed today was how the fire started, where and how it spread, how the citizens stopped the fire, and what happened after the fire. And last but not least, this may sound out of place, but the event fits under the Sprite categories of technological and social impact on Seattle. The reason for the technological impact is because Seattle made technological improvements after the fire. Finally, the reason for social impact is because of how people reacted to the fire, like not looting, because the mayor stopped them. Also, many people were left homeless after the fire, but neighboring places stepped up and helped. The end. So, are we going to perfectly cut out my voice to do the perfect intro thing while also breaking the fourth wall? Maybe not.
I can tell that your drinking eye is never open. I and say somebody